Member for Lanark, Frontenac, Lennox and Addington.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Northern Development. In 2005, the Minister's Forest Sector Council noted that rising costs were undermining forestry in Ontario. Then they brought in the HST, raised the hydro prices to the point where industry can no longer compete, brought in more and more regulation and government control, choking off the industry. The result, over 60 mills closed and 40,000 jobs lost.
It's not their fault.
Now the government is planning to transfer the cost of the road construction and maintenance program onto the struggling forest sector. Minister, your government is responsible for $1 billion wasted in e-health. The same $1 billion would have provided 13 years of road construction maintenance. How can you justify further damage to forestry and the honest, hard-working members there?
Excellent question.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I think, as the member knows, and certainly members of the House should know, that in the past 6 years, this government has contributed a total of $399.5 million towards the forest industry expenditures on the construction and maintenance of forest access roads. In fact, Mr. Speaker, we uploaded those costs that had been previously downloaded by a previous government, recognizing the challenges the forestry industry face. So in each year of that program, Mr. Speaker, forest industry expenditures, obviously have been excessive. Important. We want to make sure we continue to support them. But certainly we know that with economic times, this government has had to make some tough financial decisions. We continue to support the forest industry access road funding. There may be a reduction this year, but we're going to do what we can to meet the commitment. But over $400 million over the last 6 years, a pretty substantial investment in our support for the forestry sector.
Minister, it's disgraceful that you've cut this economic important program without notice to the industry. Such actions are unfair and show no respect for the economy of Northern Ontario. Your lack of respect for the North is not new. You abandoned them on Bill 191. You shut down debate on Bill 151. Last week, the Premier couldn't even be bothered to show up at Phenom. The government has treated the North poorly, but now you've decided to abandon the basic principles of fairness, warning and decency. You didn't list these cuts in the budget just 2 months ago. Now it's clear who's getting stuck with the bill for your secret OPSU deal. Minister, you are cutting programs for Northern Forestry so that your government can dump more cash into the Toronto Union's pork barrel.
Minister.
That took the cost of the forest access roads off the backs of the forestry companies, uploaded them back to provincial government. A previous government downloaded those costs. We have spent $400 million on forest access roads, in addition to other forestry incentive programs, we flowed over $750 million to the forestry sector. We are working closely with industry related to our modernization of the forest tenure process in the province of Ontario, listening very closely to industry in that regard as well. We are very, very proud of the support we have in the forestry sector. We have great confidence in the reinvigoration, revitalization of the forestry sector, and we'll continue to work closely with the industry in terms of the road access funding, because we recognize how important that is in terms of supporting the sector as we move forward.